Hello, this is William Allen with my Module 10 assignment for AEP 880, Creating Safe Schools. So first, I just wanted to look at the standards that we addressed in this assignment. So essentially, this can be summarized by understanding that schools are looking to form students holistically, so not just working to teach them academic content, but really working to form them as a person and a productive citizen, and whether that be through addressing their mental health needs, their nutritional needs, their physical needs, just making sure that we're meeting all of their needs and not just their academic ones, and ensuring that they have a safe environment that they can truly thrive and become the best person that they can be. So with that in mind, we read 4 articles. The first article was 3 essential priorities for school principals. I took those points right from the article. So emphasize a caring and inclusive school environment. So just building individual relationships with students, understanding that creating a safe place for students to walk into is essential for their learning. The next point was to equip staff and faculty to embrace their own leadership roles. So really being a coach for those teachers and staff rather than a boss, and helping to form teachers and build them up first, so that way they can model and exhibit good behavior for the students that they are working with. And the final point they had here was to collaborate with your community. So just ensuring that communication is two-way and not just one-way. Understanding the cultural and social makeup of the community that you are working in, and really acting and making decisions based off of the feedback that you gain from parents and families. The next article that we read, I was able to again pull some major points from this one. The first being to create an environment of mutual respect. So creating an environment of mutual respect between teachers, staff, and students. So teachers and staff can build respect and show respect for students in simple ways such as remembering their name, not embarrassing them in front of their peers, and expressing interest in their perspective and what they have to share. Next, we should be aware of stereotypes and combat them, so making sure that you're using good practices that ensure you're treating students with equity and not acting out of stereotypes, and understanding and helping students to understand stereotypes as well and combat them. And lastly, to build empathy and relationships as a buffer. So a lot of the students that were acting out, or a lot of students that act out, their behavior can be improved by simply having a good teacher invest in them and show them that they care about them. The research showed that just one teacher could impact a student in all areas of their life, in all areas of their school life, and help to reduce problematic behavior. So just truly teaching students how to empathize with others, and then building a personal, individualized relationship with your students. The next article, Strategies for Building a Productive and Positive Learning Environment, was a little longer, but I, again, highlighted some key takeaways that I saw. The first was to create a warm and organized environment based off of universal design. So creating a warm environment, that way students feel free to learn, and creating it based off of universal design, so all of your students, whether they have disabilities or not, have fair access to all the resources and materials in your room with as little modification as possible. The next point would be to model self-advocacy and self-determination skills. So truly teaching students to take ownership of their own learning, helping them to set goals and believing in them and helping them to achieve those goals. Next, utilizing positive routines and establishing traditions. So whether that routine be checking in with students on a daily basis, checking in with one another, how they're doing, and helping them to form relationships with one another and that go beyond surface level. And then utilizing positive reinforcement and traditions as well. Lastly, modeling and teaching active listening. If you can show students that you are engaged, you're giving them your full attention, it can help them to become better listeners, which can help to open up communication, which will reduce problematic behavior. Lastly, an article that we required to read was creating a warm and inclusive classroom environment. planning for all children to feel welcome. So again, just some key takeaways from this article would be to make learning relevant to students. That way they're more engaged and can see the value of what they are learning. To develop a code of conduct that is clear, so you're using the clear and universal language throughout the school. Everyone knows what's expected of them. To employ positive actions curriculum, whether it be virtue-based restorative discipline, whether it be a formal curriculum or informal, just teaching them these valuable skills that go beyond academic content. Then helping students find and develop intrinsic motivation. So again, taking control of their own learning. Reinforcing positive behaviors is great for prevention, to show what good behaviors, again, not rewarding it necessarily every time with external rewards, but helping them to understand that those good feelings that come with behaving well and behaving responsibly. And then just another last advice that the article gave was to always respond with positivity. So a lot of times with teachers it might not require a knee-jerk reaction, but we can always respond even to negative situations positively and help them to take that negative behavior or that negative action, reflect on it, and work to be better the next time around. So next we were tasked to read 4 articles on bullying prevention, and I have them again summarized here and this looked at prevention as opposed to more intervention after the fact, so really focusing on prevention of bullying behavior in school. So again, the first and most common theme that I found was to reward positive behavior. So really to use positive reinforcement rather than punitive or disciplinary actions can help students to learn what they are expected to be, what they are expected to do. Next, developing clear enforceable rules and acting consistently and the same across the board. Monitoring hot spots where bullying behavior could occur. So I'll talk a little bit more on where that's occurring, but especially if you have areas that you've seen are prone to bad behavior, have an adult supervising those areas. Engaging parents in the students' learning and being in communication with them if incidents do occur. Setting up classroom meetings so that you can have students discuss with one another what they believe should be the law of the land, so to speak. Having, if possible, a formal curriculum to teach these skills that go, again, beyond academics, and then making sure that your staff is trained to spot bullying behaviors and be on the lookout for those behaviors, and how to positively respond to those situations. So my 4 articles continued. The next step that I found was to teach kindness and empathy. Again, teaching students how to see things from not just their perspective. A lot of times they're very egocentric. It's all about me, me, me. So teaching them to go beyond themselves and understand what someone else is feeling. Fostering community, again, encouraging them to build relationships with one another and invest in one another. That way they are feeling that connection and they're less likely to go against that connection. Teaching teachers to spot those gateway behaviors that could lead to bullying down the line, whether it's eye rolling, things like that. Helping to recognize it early on, that way it can be addressed before bullying occurs. Utilizing the arts, whether it's creative writing, poems, stories, incorporating that to teach virtues or positive character development. Participating in simulations, so kind of role-playing and understanding what it feels like and helping them to work through those emotions. Collecting data and utilizing student suggestions, so collecting data to see who is feeling targeted within your school or who is feeling negative effects of bullying, and then again reaching out and gathering suggestions and implementing student-based suggestions on how to remedy these situations. And then lastly, recognizing targeted groups or those that are more likely to be on the receiving end of bullying behavior. So again, teaching staff to be aware of those students and to keep more of an eye out for those students. So to look at where bullying behavior is occurring. So one study was showing that a lot of students were reporting experiencing some sort of bullying behavior. A lot of it being verbal, some being physical, and again, it's shown here the percentages that they reported in this one study. And where it is occurring, sadly, the number one in this study was that it was occurring in the classroom. And another study, it said that hallway or by the lockers was a larger percentage of where bullying behavior was occurring. But sadly, again, it takes place during the school day when they're around their peers, and oftentimes it can be in places that teachers are not able to monitor as closely. So again, just taking those action steps and recognizing within your school where bullying is most likely to occur and making sure that it's well supervised. And then again, if bullying is occurring, training students that it's okay to reach out to an adult and how to better resolve the issues that are occurring. Here at Sacred Heart, I believe that our policy and procedures are pretty well tailored to addressing bullying and bullying behavior. So I believe that we are very proactive. We do teach virtue education actively as a whole school and in our classrooms. We have very clear policy outlined in the handbook if issues ever do occur. Once situations do occur, we work together to see where the individuals were lacking in virtues, how we can better tackle it for the next time. So less focused on punitive and more focused on restorative consequences. We have small class sizes that allow for personal connections with students, which I love. We are encouraged to communicate with parents, not just for the bad, but for the good as well. That way we can build those relationships up. That way if something does occur that we need to address, it's not the only time we are reaching out to them. We also model good nutrition through lunches and our policies. We have very healthy lunches. And then an area that I believe that we could improve is to reach out with others and work on more of the mental health and coping tools. We don't have as many resources as the public school might have, so I believe that this is an area we could really tackle to build students up and support them on their mental health and an emotional level. Here are my references. Thank you very much for watching.